How this project works. So if you walk with me here, Red Neptune Beach, you see the dunes with the dune plants on the left and the right. Those were a part of the restoration project, but that big patch of sand in the middle, that was sand brought in to brace for Dorian. But I wanted you to look down with me. This is why that sand was brought in, because they didn't want water like this to make its way out to the community. And it worked. Now, the rebuilding placed 4 to 6 feet of vertical sand and up to 25 to 30 feet in width. So last year, we were spared any major storms, so our beach cities had a chance to catch up and get restoration started. The beach renourishment project required a total of 880,000 cubic yards of sand and 600,000 native dune plants. Neighbors told Action News Jax they're relieved this time around that the beaches were spared, and the sand dunes held up against those rough waves.
I'm grateful that it was not nearly as bad as it could have been.
Now this morning we have had some beachgoers come up to us and ask, well, can we go back on the beach? Mayor Lenny Curry said lifeguards will be back on the beaches today, but they're expecting surf to still be rough and water conditions as well, so they're still asking you to stay out of the water. Reporting live in Neptune Beach, Courtney Cole, Fox 30 Action News Jax.
Now certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax, First Alert Weather.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beaton. Still tracking this Category 3 Hurricane Dorian to our north and east now, so all is well here in northeast Florida and southeast Georgia weather-wise from Dorian, and it is going to be moving back to the north-northeast here through the next couple of hours. We're already seeing an indication of that now. Hurricane Center still saying north at 7, but I suspect it's already starting to make that north-northeast movement there, sparing Charleston from the exact most intense portion of this hurricane that's just offshore. We're already seeing indications, though, of some tropical tornadoes on the ground in the Myrtle Beach area in northeastern South Carolina's coastline. And right now, we'll get through Friday. That could also make its way closer to that Wilmington, North Carolina area where we're just talking live there with a reporter, and then off into the Outer Banks. Potentially the only U.S. landfall will be the Carolina coastline, technically, from Hurricane Dorian, and that would be still as potentially a Category 2 hurricane. But right now you can see the latest radar data and also the buoy reports, 54-mile-per-hour winds close to that center, but we're watching those tropical tornadoes there as it makes its way in the outermost rain bands to the north. Floyd, Matthew, and Dorian, here's the comparison. Here's how it shaped up. There's Matthew, about 40 miles offshore from Jacksonville. There's Hurricane Dorian. That was about 100 miles or so, and then you get farther east from that for Hurricane Floyd back in the 90s. Of course, Matthew in 2016. So we went right up the middle there between Floyd and Matthew. 5-speed First Alert Doppler HD right now here locally over northeast Florida and southeast Georgia. It is dry. It will be dry today after some overnight lingering showers closer to the coast. Brunswick, St. Simons Island, Jekyll Island, we've got you covered as well. You can see it is dry, St. Simons and Jekyll. There's another look at First Alert Storm Analyst showing that counterclockwise rotation there just offshore and due east of Savannah. Meanwhile, live on the Action News Jax First Alert Skycam Network from Orange Park and Club Continental, it is a nice morning here. Some clouds here, but that will be filtering out, and we'll see a lot of sunshine today with offshore breezy winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour and temperatures in the low 90s and mid 90s well inland. Upper 60s for tonight. That's going to feel nice, especially if you're in the inland communities. We'll be monitoring a pretty about 70 degrees, 72 degrees at the coast, but upper 60s well inland. So that's going to be nice, nice, nice. And it'll be nice to be able to do all these things today, the day after a hurricane just off our coastline, travel, the bank. Airports will be up and running, and the flights, of course, you want to check ahead just to be sure for early this morning. But, Corey, it's a nice day to work, too, here in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center and the Boating and Beach forecast.
A nice day to work and a nice day to maybe get back out on the water or in the water. West winds 15 to 20. It's still going to be windy out there today, folks, but that wind it is going to be offshore. Surfers, I know you're going to love that part of it. Seas 5 to 9 feet, and then here are tides. We've got low tide. We're approaching that at 7:52, and then 2:39 p.m. is the next high tide cycle. So in the beach forecast, those waves 4 to 8 feet. Still pretty high, but significantly lower than what we had out there yesterday. High rip current risk still at sunburn time. It's going to drop, especially into this afternoon with mostly sunny skies and those water temperatures, Garrett, still warm in the middle 80s.
Yeah, and they'll continue that way through your weekend. Offshore winds, going to be a nice one for the surfers today. There's already surfers out there, as you can imagine, at the beaches. Low to mid 90s today, and a lot of sunshine into Saturday and Sunday. The Jags game is going to be dry on CBS47, but some inland isolated showers. That continues into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. You can always get this forecast any time of the day by downloading the free Action News Jax First Alert weather app, and join Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish at 5 on CBS47. It's 7:21. Derek, there's traffic back on the roads today.
Yeah, a little bit of traffic, and it's slowing down because of this crash. 295 southbound, the ramp from 103rd, blocking that right lane. They're also on the left shoulder, so traffic squeezing through, giving that a yellow light. Definitely causing a delay for about a mile and a half. So the cars that are on the road slowing down a bit on the West Beltway. Arlington not seeing any problems at all on the expressway, 60 miles per hour. University Boulevard, 295 coming off the Davis Point, delay free. And down in Green Cove Springs, all is looking good here in Clay County over the Shands Bridge, heading towards Penny Farms and up and down 17. It is a delay free ride. No school traffic today, and they will be back tomorrow. So your travel time's definitely lighter than normal. That's the latest from the Keith Pearson Toyota First Alert Traffic Center.
3 big things you need to know, powered by Safe Touch Security.
I'm Rich Jones. The U.S. Navy and Coast Guard are already ferrying resources to our friends and neighbors in the Bahamas after Dorian. Jamie Dupree says the Pentagon has spared all but one military base out of our area from losing billions of dollars. That money is being redirected to the southern border with Mexico, and China says talks with the U.S. over the tariff war not expected to begin until October. WOKV's 3 big things you need to know, powered by Safe Touch Security.
Hurricane Dorian floods streets and Davis shores.
But the water quickly receded. The Activities Action News Jax crews spotted neighbors doing to get around. Your time, 7:23.
Welcome to Action News Jax right now. I'm Dawn Lopez at 7:26. We have an update on that first alert weather and traffic a day after the storm for us here at home. That's coming up in just 1 minute. In your news right now, developing this morning, 1 child and 3 others are hurt in an overnight shooting They're recovering this morning. Action News Jax is working to learn exactly how they were hurt, but police were called to the corner of 62nd Street and Vermilion. That's in the North Shore area. Anyone with information who may have been there is asked to call the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Breaking overnight, one person is dead and multiple local families are out of their homes. This is video that JFRD tweeted out of just how bad that fire got and burned through this apartment complex. As you can see here, it's been gutted. This is located on Kensington Square in the San Jose area near the river. Crews say that the fire destroyed half of the units where the fire started. Now that Hurricane Dorian is tracking its way up the East Coast north from us, many local businesses, schools, and government organizations are working to get back to business. Duval County schools will open. JTA is back up and running today, and kids have no excuse not to get the homework done because public libraries will be open again starting at 1 o'clock. Your official Jaguar stations are getting you ready for game day. Jags All Access is tonight at 7 on Fox 30, live from Mellow Mushroom in Avondale. Action Sports Jax Brent Martineau is joined by Jeff Lageman and former Jags player Rasheem Mathis.
From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima. We're going to kind of get the weather locally back to normal today. It's going to be breezy this morning with a few clouds here and there. It is kind of a partly to mostly cloudy start, but those clouds are going to go away. We have an offshore wind today. That's out of the west, and that is going to crank the temperatures. It's going to be hot out there this afternoon with those temperatures in the middle 90s. Derek?
Right now on the road, slow down on the West Beltway, 295 and 103rd, going southbound there, giving that a yellow light. The right lane is still blocked, and the police are on the scene, so watch out for delays in that area. That's your update from the Keith Pearson Toyota First Alert Traffic Center. Dawn?
Thank you, Derek. Many people bought extra cases of water and food preparing for Dorian, but now that the storm has passed us, the question is, what can you do with it now? Well, you can make sure it doesn't go to waste, and we'll tell you how coming up next on Fox 30.
This is CBS 47 Fox 30 Action News Jax this morning. Local coverage you can count on.
Heavy rain, water beginning to pool in streets of downtown Charleston and South Carolina. Roads are closed near Charleston ahead of Hurricane Dorian's arrival this morning. Plus, we've got a live look at Myrtle Beach here. Oh boy, yeah, that storm is moving past to the moves to the Carolina coast. This is also Charleston. Man, could make landfall along the North Carolina coast. We're keeping a close eye on that. My goodness. Good morning to you. I'm Letitia Barriola.
And I'm Phil Amato. It's blustery up there right now, isn't it? Let's get you caught up with the very latest on the storm. There are no evacuation orders in Clay and Duval counties anymore. JTA will also resume service today. And Hurricane Dorian is now a Category 3 storm moving north and northeast today with a potential to make landfall in North Carolina on Friday. Friday. Action News Jax has team coverage of Hurricane Dorian's impact on our area today as it moves north. We begin with Action News Jax First Alert meteorologist Garrett Biedenbaugh. Those folks up in the Carolinas getting hit now, but boy, we have a beautiful sunrise.
Yeah, we have a beautiful sunrise here. Offshore winds, the surf cleaning up. Already surfers enjoying that. We'll show you a live look from Jacksonville Beach here coming up in just a bit. But right now, here's Hurricane Dorian, the status of it. There's Category 3 status, Hurricane Dorian right now. And there it is, 115 mile per hour maximum sustained winds impacting the Carolina coastline here this morning from Charleston up through Murrells Inlet, also the McClellanville area. And it's not going to make a landfall there. That's where Hugo made a landfall back in the 1989. It's the one everybody talks about. Like everybody talks Dora here, everybody talks about Hugo in South Carolina. And that was from 64 back here, of course, from Dora. But as we go through the next couple of days, there's a Thursday 2 o'clock going to be going by the Carolina coastline. So it's making that north-northeast movement here today and moving back to the northeast as we head through the day on Friday and potentially impacting the Outer Banks of North Carolina, maybe even brushing the Wilmington, North Carolina area. That's where Florence went last year. If you remember that storm we were watching, I was up there with John Bachman covering it for you live here on CBS47 and FOX30 Action News Jax. 5-speed First Alert Doppler HD over northeast Florida and southeast Georgia is dry, though. We had some overnight showers. The outermost bands of Dorian finally have moved off our coastline. It's still going to be gusty, though. We've had tropical tornadoes reported up in the Carolinas, though already multiple tornado warnings. This is why it was good we were on the west side of the system, because this is what you get on the northeast quadrant there with those tropical tornadoes. And we have video of one, too. We're going to get you and show you here in just a bit. Hour by hour today, though, a lot of sunshine for your Thursday. Mid-90s for afternoon highs with that offshore breezy wind. Coming up in your First Alert 7-day forecast, we'll be timing out the weekend as well. That's coming up in just a bit. Right now it's 7:33. Here's Derek Odom in the Action News Jax First Alert Traffic Center.
Garrett, I was a freshman in college for Hugo way back when. 295 and 103rd Street. Yellow light as traffic moving slow going southbound there. Right lane still blocked. The left shoulder blocked as well. So traffic squeezing through that area. No reported injuries, but you can see it's backed up for about a mile, so watch out for delays there along the West Beltway. Swinging over to the East Beltway, a minor tap of the brakes, definitely not the usual delay as traffic merges on from 9B on the 295 northbound heading towards Bay Meadows Road. Major roads, big 3 travel times without the school traffic, and some people still off work. Not much of a buildup here. 10 eastbound looking good, delay-free over the Buckman Bridge. That's your update from the Keith Pearson Toyota First Alert Traffic Center. Phil?
Well, families along the coast are waking up to erosion at the beach left behind by Hurricane Dorian.
Action News Jax Beth Rousseau joins us live in Volano Beach. And Beth, homeowners are nervous about another storm and what it could wash away.
And Letitia, since we're talking about erosion, I just have to show you the beach access, or I should say what's left of the beach access that I used Tuesday when I was here talking about storm preps. Won't be walking down this anytime soon. You'll be taking a big old jump. Where we are right now on Volano Beach is right down the road. If we can show some video of where the dunes were breached yesterday by the waves from Hurricane Dorian. Now that's along A1A, and you can actually see them wash onto the road. In 2017, Action News Jax told you, and county leaders launched a beach restoration plan for 2 miles of the coastline in Volano and North Beach. It included dredging and 16,000 truckloads of sand. It cost between $3 and $5 million, but those were not taxpayer dollars, I should point out. Families want to know what's next for the shore, and overall they tell us Dorian is just not what they had in mind.
The rain band's coming in at the over there near the river, and then we come out this way, and it's just rainy, windy. It's not what I expected. I was expecting a hurricane.
Families in this area tell us that they just don't know how this area would fare and how the coast would fare if it were hit by another storm, which is an especially big concern since we are in the peak of hurricane season. We're live in Volano Beach this morning. Beth Russo, Action News Jax.
Hurricane Dorian put on a show for hundreds of people at the Jacksonville Beach Pier who gathered to watch. They're a little stir crazy. Wanted to get outside and watch this. Action News Jax spotted, though, people trying to boogie board and even surf in the dangerous waves. Whoa.
Usually with a normal swell, you have time in between sets, but I mean, you get no break. It's just coming at you, coming at you, coming at you.
Fortunately, there were no reports of structural damage to the pier like there was during Matthew and Irma.
Covering St. Johns County, Action News Jax was in Davis Shores Wednesday afternoon, where flooding on Coquina Avenue reached Action News Jax Elizabeth Pace to the hip, or at least to the top of her knees there. It's all cleared up. She spotted a couple of guys, though, who found a unique way to get around, surfing through the streets.
I'm from Ocean City, Maryland, so it happens a lot, so I'm kind of used to this. Thought it'd be a lot worse, but we kind of got lucky.
At least boogie boarding, right? Elizabeth also spotted 4 people using this canoe to get through the worst of the floodwaters, but the streets cleared up within a few hours.
Gosh, Davis Shores just doesn't get a break. Naval Air Station Jacksonville will recall some of its employees today at noon to start reopening the base. They're trying to get the airfield open first to start bringing back aircrafts that were moved to other military bases ahead of the storm. All normal operations will resume by noon on Friday.
Now that Hurricane Dorian is tracking up the East Coast away from our area, many local businesses, schools, and government organizations are working to get back to business. Action News Jax Courtney Cole is live in Neptune Beach this morning. And Courtney, most of our local schools will resume class tomorrow.
And Phil, before we get to talking about schools, I want to show you Neptune Beach is coming back alive here. Boards are coming down at the Seahorse Ocean front end. You can see one of the plywood are already down already, so we're definitely getting back to business on this Thursday morning. Now let's get back to our schools for a second. They weren't closed because of Hurricane Dorian, because of the impact. It's just because a lot of the schools served as shelters, so they need time to get those cleaned up before they send the kids back. Now everything will be pretty normal in Duval County. The only thing not happening today because of Hurricane Dorian are the football games. But here's some other key points. Emergency response teams are still scoping out any possible damage today, but if you see anything you think they might have missed, call 630-CITY. Bridges are open during your commute today, and all my customers who ride JTA, they will also be up and running. City offices will also be reopening those doors today, and kids, you're not off the hook. City libraries will be reopening at 1 o'clock this afternoon. And, of course, we started on Neptune Beach. We're on Neptune Beach right now. All my beachgoers, you want to know, can I go back to the beach today? We've been telling you for days that the beaches are closed. Lifeguards are returning to their posts today, but conditions are still expected to be rough, so they're still asking you to stay out of the water. Reporting live on Neptune Beach, Courtney Cole, FOX30 Action News Jax.
Action News Jax has been showing you photos and video for days now of the devastation left behind by Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas. Once that storm passed, people were able to get a better view of some of the destruction in Abaco and Grand Bahama Island. Homes are now filled with debris, walls ripped off, showing just the home's framework. And this is new drone video of the Abaco Islands from Wednesday, where Dorian laid waste to homes, boats, and vehicles. You can see those downed trees and huge piles of debris everywhere. Meanwhile, Florida Senators Marco Rubio and Rick Scott are now asking President Trump to waive some visa requirements for Bahamians looking to come to the U.S. to stay with family after the storm.
Local families stocked up to prepare for Dorian's arrival. Thankfully, many of those supplies weren't needed.
That's right. Maybe you have cases and cases of water left over in your house. Action News Jax Don Lopez is in the studio to explain what families can do now with those supplies. Don?
That's right. And in the days leading up to Dorian's arrival off our coast, Action News Jax shared pictures like this that you, our viewers, sent in, and that's empty store shelves as people were stocking up on the essentials like water and bread. So we wanted to know, which grocery stores, what do they do when customers return food items? A local Walmart tells us that stores don't restock those items, so they just throw them away. Well, they're urging you to consider donating them instead of trying to return them. Local food banks, schools, women's shelters, and kids' sports teams can always use bottled water. And another option, donate those items to local hurricane relief efforts for the Bahamas. So many of you have been calling and sending emails. What can you do to help the Bahamas? That's one way. Now, the American Red Cross and the Salvation Army, just a few of the organizations collecting food and closed right now. For a full list, click on the hurricane page at actionnewsjax.com. As we learn more about relief efforts, of course, we'll bring it to you. Letitia?
A lot of people asking, how can they help? Well, if you want the latest information on Hurricane Dorian's impact on our local area, from school schedules to evacuation and curfew information, also how you can donate your supplies and things of that matter, go to download the Action News Jax mobile app and click on the Hurricane Center.
And things are back to normal across northeast Florida and southeast Georgia, with those temperatures warming up this afternoon. By 9 a.m., 80 degrees your temperature. By 10, 85. By noontime, temperatures really start to warm up, already looking at the lower 90s across our area. By 3 o'clock, 95 degrees. And by 5 o'clock, still warm, a high of 94 degrees. And now let's check in with Derek Odom with First Alert Traffic.
So right now on the roads, slow in one spot. It's over on the West Beltway, 295 and 103rd Street going southbound. You can see the crash still blocking a lane. So we're giving that a yellow light as you make your way through that part. It's slowing you down for about a mile. No reported injuries there, but we're going to keep an eye on that for you as you make your way out this morning. Otherwise, it's pretty quiet with no school traffic. A lot of people not back to work as of yet, so things are looking pretty good. Good news, the tolls on the First Coast Expressway and the 295 Express lane still suspended until Friday at midnight. Bridges are open. They never closed, as predicted by the First Alert Weather Team, and no major roads have been flooded. That's the latest from the Keith Pearson Toyota First Alert Traffic Center. Phil?
Curfews and evacuations just ended on Amelia Island after Hurricane Dorian.
How emergency management is taking advantage of the time to evaluate the damage.
Some major flooding in St. Johns County neighborhood along A1A. Why families say it's nothing compared to what they've seen in the past.
A boat is now partially submerged right underneath the Intercoastal Bridge. Up next, you'll hear from the boat owner and why this boat is so important to him.
Hi, I'm First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beaton. Well, offshore winds still breezy today, but sunshine and hot temperatures post-storm today. About 95 degrees in Jacksonville. Will be even the low 90s all the way to the coast, with the offshore winds really cleaning up the surf for the surfers' delight for today. But again, it's going to be hot and it's going to be dry as we head through your Thursday. I'll have your First Alert 7-day forecast coming up next on Fox 30.
Hey, good morning to you. So there are some boats that are submerged here along our waterways, and those boat owners got some work to do, Phil.
That's right. Not only one, but two. Two boaters are waiting to retrieve their sailboats now. They were swept under the Intercoastal Waterway Bridge on Beach Boulevard by Hurricane Dorian's winds.
Action News Jax, Alicia Tarancon is live in the area. Alicia, you were there Wednesday when a man's boat got stuck on the rocks.
Phil and Letitia, I just spoke with the owner of this boat a few minutes ago. He said that everything he owned was on this red sailboat, that this boat was his home. And this morning, I want you to go ahead and take a look. You can see that boat over here, it's now submerged over here in the water. This morning, we picked out a few items that were drifting out, like his surfboard, a chair. Over here back on shore, we also noticed that he had a tent on board as well as a tackle box. Now, on Wednesday, this red sailboat became trapped underneath the Intracoastal Bridge during Hurricane Dorian. A witness recorded the original rescue mission on his phone after the boat got lodged into these rocks. The same sailboat got loose a second time, and JSO and an Action News Jax photographer tried to secure it. We spoke with the boat's owner yesterday. As he was riding out the storm, he said this boat was all that he had. Your home is actually everything, all of your items and all your belongings inside this boat.
Other than a few things my family's at the motel with, but yeah, everything else is in here.
And Isaac tells us because of the storm yesterday, it was too dangerous to send out a tugboat or any help to go ahead and help get his boat out. Now, as I mentioned before, we did just speak with him a few minutes ago, and he's going to make his way out, and he's going to tell us if this boat is salvageable or not, and we'll update you throughout the morning. I'm reporting live right near the Intracoastal Bridge. Alicia Tarrant-Kahn, Fox 30 Action News Jax.
New this morning, a California man is arrested accused of selling fentanyl-laced drugs to rapper Mac Miller just a few days before his death. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration says 23-year-old Cameron James sold Miller counterfeit Percocets that they believe he snorted before his death in 2018. So the suspect is charged with distribution of a controlled substance.
Your official Jaguar stations are getting you ready for game day. The first regular season game Sunday at TIAA Bank Field. Jaguars All Access is tonight at 7 on Fox 30, live from the Mellow Mushroom in Avondale. Action Sports Jax Brent Martineau is joined by Jeff Lageman and former Jaguar Rashean Mathis.
Now certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Garrett Wiedenball. Right now, Hurricane Dorian continuing to move away from us, and it's impacting the South Carolina coastline and North Carolina coastline and a little bit inland, too. There's Jacksonville's latitude, went by us about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and then now to the north and east of us. It's moving more northeasterly now, so it's going to be skirting that South Carolina coastline. Now, if it had kept going north, obviously, to run into Charleston, but they're seeing the heaviest bands of kind of hurricane force potential winds just offshore, thankfully for them, but we are watching it here on the visible satellite imagery there, just coming up with sunrise. There's that eye beginning to be seen here using the visible satellite imagery from GO 16 satellite, moving off to the north and east now. The official movement is at north, but I think it's more of a north-northeast movement right now. We'll get an update by 8 a.m. here in the next few minutes or so from the National Hurricane Center. Still expected to potentially make landfall with the North Carolina coast there near the Outer Banks or just to the south of there by Friday into the day and then offshore by the afternoon. Here's those current winds, looking at it, 30 to 40 plus miles per hour, 50 mile per hour wind report, 54 there at that buoy just off the Carolina coastline there, and then 40 miles per hour on the back end there east of Savannah. 5 sweet First Alert Doppler HD. Right now over northeast Florida and southeast Georgia is drying out here. No rain to report to you this morning. We had some overnight rain right along the immediate coast and even in southeast Georgia, but it's dry for you now. And a surfer's delight. We've been telling you about this. The offshore winds. Here we go. We'll take it live on the Action News Jax First Alert Skycam Network. They didn't get that one, but we'll be. There's literally just dots of people out there in the surf. We just zoomed in here for you this morning, and it will be relaxing through the day today with those offshore winds. Right now it's 16 miles per hour. At the beaches today, that surf about 4 to 8 feet, but the 8's on the high end on this morning. That's really dying down now, it looks like already. And then going to 1 to 2 feet as we head through Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday with the rip current risk at high today, but moderate tomorrow and low by the weekend. Be careful once you're walking around. Of course, things can get with the sand and the wind and the waves pounding. You have to watch what you're walking on. 95 degrees today. It's going to be hot. A lot of sunshine, though. That's some good news. Mid-90s for St. Augustine, Middleburg, mid to upper 90s in spots. Dry air filtering in, helping us heat up and sinking air on the backside of a hurricane. Mid to upper 90s there for Glen St. Mary. Coming into us now on the First Alert Weather Center, we also have some video coming out of the Myrtle Beach area. This is a tornado, a tropical tornado just reported in the last few minutes or so. This is that video. You can see this is what we could have had if we would have been in the northeast quadrant of Dorian. There's a tornado on the ground causing damage damage to a North Myrtle Beach area, and these are quick moving too. So this just into us here in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center and News Center as well. So we'll keep monitoring for the latest conditions there from Dorian as it moves off to the north and east. But right now, here's meteorologist Corey Sima talking about, well, Corey, what are you talking about? Rain reports.
Rain from yesterday, and I just want to say, Garrett, those tornadoes, very dangerous because they can pop up really with very little warning. But that's why here in the First Alert Weather Center, we're always keeping a close eye on everything, and someone is always here in the building if there's active weather. These are the rain reports from yesterday. JIA, just over ½ an inch. NAS Jax, 8400ths. There's Mayport, 1 1/4. Those rain reports out along the coast, including about Brunswick and St. Augustine, 1 to 2 inches. Would have been a lot more, Garrett, if those rain bands had been just a little bit to the west. And the First Alert 7-day forecast has your weekend always in view. We're going to keep those hot and sunny conditions all the way through Saturday and Sunday, including the Jags game. Just an isolated shower on Sunday with slightly better opportunities for rain by the time we get to next week. Remember, you can download the Action News Jax First Alert Weather app to be notified when heavy rain moves in, but we just got to get the rain in here. Right now, 7:51, here's Derek Odom in the First Alert Traffic Center.
Corey, right now we're watching a slowdown on the West Beltway here, 295 and 103rd Street. Still the only crash we have working right now. Looks like a wrecker is picking up one of the cars right now, giving that a yellow light. Causes just a bit of delay here on the West Beltway. You see the red and the orange there as you come off of 103rd and head southbound on 295. Delayed for about a mile, mile and a half through that stretch. So we're keeping an eye on that. Otherwise, things are looking pretty good. Up in Fernandina Beach, Nassau County, that evacuation order has been lifted. So some people will be traveling back towards the beach. Traffic is looking good. No problems crossing the Shave Bridge there, getting on to Amelia Island and heading towards Fernandina. So good looking ride there and pretty much everywhere around town. Of course, we'll keep you updated while you're on the go. And if you see something going on, you can send me a tweet right there at Action Traffic. Of course, FL511, good resource from the DOT for any closures. We didn't have any major closures or flooding. That was the good news from yesterday. And of course, your car radio should always be on our news partner for updates all day long. That's News 104.5 WOKV. Tish?
Powerful winds, slashing waves, too.
That's right. Coming up, the beach erosion concerns neighbors have in St. Augustine. Plus, some neighbors in St. Johns County were left with flooding after Hurricane Dorian. Coming up, how one home was able to withstand the storm.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Garrett Wiedenwald. Here's your 7-day forecast with your weekend always in view. Today, hot after the hurricane. We'll see a lot of sunshine here today and breezy offshore winds. Low 90s continue into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Your weekend's always in view in the First Alert 7-day forecast. Jags game's going to be primarily dry on CBS47. Low 90s into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the upper 80s with just a few inland showers. Here's Derek Odom in the Action News Jax First Alert Traffic Center.
Right now, one crash slowing you down just a bit. It's over on 295 southbound, just off the ramp from 103rd Street, causing about a mile and a half of delay there. Evacuation orders lifted in Nassau County out on the beaches there, so traffic may be flowing back towards Amelia Island. No delays there on State Road 200. And your travel times without school traffic, pretty quiet this morning as you make your way out the door. Weather and traffic every 10 minutes all morning long on Action News Jax. For the very latest live and local news, join us. Fox 30 Action News Jax at 8 starts right now.
St. Augustine Beach took a beating from Hurricane Dorian's outer bands. You saw that yesterday with our live coverage, leaving behind erosion with sand hills at least 4 feet high. Those high tides flooded the beach's seawall too, but it wasn't enough to keep some people out of the dangerous waters, as you just saw. Action News Jax told you in 2018 when the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers took a beach renourishment project and took that on to help the ongoing erosion problems there.
Now that Hurricane Dorian's effects are moving past our local areas, many businesses, government offices, and schools are getting back to normal life. And I hope you are too at your home. I know it's been a little crazy the last couple of days. Duval, St. Johns, and Clay County schools will resume Friday morning, kids. You got 1 day of school this week. For information on local business openings, trash pickup, which has been a hot topic lately, and medical center hours, click on the Hurricane Center on actionnewsjax.com.
3 big things you need to know, powered by Safe Touch Security.
I'm Rich Jones. We continue to track Dorian's impacts along the Carolina coastlines, and Florida's 2 U.S. senators, meantime, are asking the president to waive some visa requirements for the people of the Bahamas as they continue to get up off the ground. 4 people, including a young person, injured in a shooting on Jacksonville's north side, still under investigation. WOKV's 3 big things you need to know, powered by Safe Touch Security.
It's 7:56. Here's something you haven't seen so far this morning. Coming up in the next hour, over 20,000 pounds of raw beef under recall. The beef manufacturer under fire.
And I'm First Alert meteorologist Gary Beatonwall. Right now, offshore winds at 20 miles per hour in some spots. Then offshore wind continues. I'll let you know why we're going to see hot temperatures today. That's coming up in the Action News Jax First Alert 7-day forecast.
Neighbors in our coastal cities are waking up with smiles on their faces because the dunes worked. Coming up next on Action News Jax this morning, we're going to look at a breakdown of the investment that made all the money worth it.
The Action News Jax First Alert weather team has tracked Dorian for more than 10 days.
No, the ocean's just really angry.
Dorian arrived off Jacksonville's coast.
I'm just making sure she doesn't sink. It's all I have.
Flooding coastal communities, closing local roads and bridges, battering our beaches.
Even on a good day, you can be driving down that stretch of A1A and the ocean is right there.
Now,
I'm grateful that it was
not nearly as bad as it could have been.
All quiet off Jacksonville's coast.
Look from downtown toward the west, see a little bit of sun, a glimmer of hope, right, as Dorian moves away.
As the skies clear, count on Action News Jax to be with you after the storm.
Dorian the day after for us, but not others. Here's a live look at Folly Beach, not far from Charleston this morning. The heavy wind and rain making it kind of tough to see the shoreline there. Dorian could make landfall along the North Carolina coast between Wilmington and the Outer Banks by Friday. Thanks for joining us, everyone, in Action News Jax this morning at 8. I'm Phil Amato.
I'm Letitia Barriola. Hurricane Dorian strengthened to a Category 3 storm just last night. So let's get you caught up on the very latest on what you need to know after the storm. 20 people are confirmed dead in the Bahamas. Leaders there say that number could rise as floodwaters recede. For those who use JTA to get around town, they will resume normal hours starting today. In Nassau County, the ICW bridge now open. Leaders ask drivers to watch out, though, for road debris. Action News Jax with you as local communities get back to normal. I know it's been a long few days. We begin our After the Storm team coverage with Action News Jax First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beatonball, who took us through hours and hours of that storm. Garrett, now we're back on to our heating trend. It's hot.
Yeah, it's going to be hot today. Here's Category 3 status. Hurricane Dorian, now the backside of the system, some drier air, sinking air, so it heats up when it does that. And we'll get back into the mid-90s for today. Typically what we see if we have a hurricane going by us and now gone. And that's seeing some showers and thunderstorms, some gusty winds well offshore. But that Dorian went by us yesterday about 2 o'clock, our latitude-wise. There's Charleston, South Carolina, and that's moving off to the north-northeast now. We told you that was the direction earlier. Now at 8 a.m., according to the National Hurricane Center, now it's officially north-northeast at 8 miles per hour. Still a Category 3 hurricane, 115 miles per hour with the maximum sustained winds, expected to weaken somewhat today, but still a Category 2 hurricane with those onshore winds bringing in water to those spots in the sounds especially, and then once it goes to the north, the sound side flooding will be something to watch too there for the Outer Banks. But it could be a U.S. landfall there for Dorian, depending on where it exactly goes with that eye there, and especially the coastal North Carolina area. But again, impacts far ranging from the center of circulation. 5-sweep First Alert Doppler HD here locally is dry. There's Dorian, you can see spinning around. We've had confirmed tornado reports going on in the Myrtle Beach area. We've shown you some of those videos as well, as is coastal North Carolina. Taking a live look right now from our First Alert Skycam network in Myrtle Beach. They've turned it around to probably try to find some of those tornadoes quick moving here. We were looking at the beach earlier, but now it's mostly cloudy and still rainy and gusty with those winds. Today here locally, we'll be in the mid-80s at 10 a.m. Low 90s by lunchtime, mid-90s for our afternoon highs. It'll be a lot of sunshine for your Thursday. I'll let you know what the weekend looks like coming up in your First Alert 7-day forecast. 8:03, here's Derek Odom in the Action News Jax First Alert Traffic Center.
A live look here. Been watching this for a while. 295 southbound at 103rd. They towed away one of the vehicles, but police are still on scene. So we're giving that a yellow light at southbound as you come off the 103rd ramp there, causing a bit of a delay for about a mile and a half. So watch out for a little congestion there. Otherwise, congestion's been pretty light out there with no school traffic. Up in Nassau County, the evacuation's lifted. Some people may be going back onto Amelia Island towards Fernandina Beach. Traffic is looking pretty good there right now, so no delays there. 17 I-95 in Nassau County, you're looking pretty good. As we track those travel times, and you know, without the school traffic, we don't see much of a buildup. Delay-free on 10 and no problems over the Buckman Bridge. That's the very latest from the Keith Pearson Toyota First Alert Traffic Center. Phil.
Let's take a live look at Charleston, South Carolina now, where Hurricane Dorian will come dangerously close to that historic community. It's tough to tell there, but that's the Ravenel Bridge in the background being shrouded by the rain and the outer bands of Dorian moving in. Meanwhile, erosion is a top concern for families in St. Johns County, where Dorian battered the shore there.
Action News Jax Beth Rousseau joins us live in Volano Beach. Beth, we are in peak hurricane season. Homeowners there don't know if the area could handle another storm.
That's right, Letitia. And I actually talked to this homeowner shortly after Hurricane Irma. He told me he did everything that he could to make this house hurricane resistant. A big part of it is this bulkhead. But look at what the waters from Dorian did. They came right up underneath the house and washed the sand out from underneath the foundation of his home. If another storm hit, it would just continually work away at that sand underneath his house. You might say, hey, this is just one home, but this is the similar concern that they have for A1A, which is just right by this house. Right now, I want to go ahead and show you some video of Dorian when he came to the coast, or rolled by, I should say, at St. Augustine Beach. You can see those crashing waves washing the sand away, and you can that whipped by and blew the sand away as well. Families there tell us that what they want to know is how county leaders are going to restore the shore and make sure more erosion doesn't happen. Overall, they tell us that Dorian is just not what they expected.
As dangerous as hurricanes can be, we definitely have to respect them. But once they're out of here, it's beautiful to see how much, nature can, how powerful nature really is.
So what are county leaders going to do about this erosion? I'm taking a look at plans and what they've done in hurricanes. All of that coming up on Action News Jax. We're live this morning. So Action News Jax.
Well, two boaters are waiting to retrieve their sailboats after they swept under the Intracoastal Waterway Bridge on Beach Boulevard by Hurricane Dorian's winds.
It's one of them right there stuck. This is new video of one of the boats partially submerged. Action News Jax Alicia Tarancon is live in the area. And Alicia, Action News Jax crews helped secure one of those boats.
And I just spoke with the owner. He says that this boat was everything to him, that this boat was his home. When we got out here about 3 hours ago, we found this boat already submerged halfway in the water. You can see a lot of the items that are floating around. We spotted a chair. Earlier we saw his surfboard, and some other items that were floating out from this water. Now on Wednesday, this red sailboat became trapped near the Intracoastal Bridge during Hurricane Dorian. A witness recorded the original rescue mission on his phone after the boat got lodged into these rocks. We spoke with the boat's owner yesterday as he was riding out the storm, and he told us how his boat got loose.
It broke its mooring and it slid aground just north of us here, and I had a bunch of people help me get it this far. We tried to get it out and down river, but we weren't able to, and my anchor caught a rock and we slid in, and we're just pounding the shore right now.
And Isaac tells us with the storm yesterday, it was just too dangerous to call for a tugboat or any sort of help. And that's not the only boat that got stuck. If you look over here, you'll notice this white sailboat that's also up against these rocks here. Now, we're going to go ahead and speak with Isaac later this morning to see if there's anything that can be done to salvage these two boats or anything that was on these boats. When we hear back, we of course will update you both online and on air. I'm reporting live right near the Intracoastal Bridge. Alicia Tarancon, Fox 30 Action News Jax.
It's 8:08. Some families who live along A1A are happy to be waking up in their own homes this morning without any damage. Action News Jax was along A1A in Volano Beach when waves forced an opening and spilled water onto the road, causing it to close. Big cleanup there. One woman who lives along A1A in the Summer Haven neighborhood in St. Augustine evacuated her home for a few days. She tells Action News Jax she experienced storm damage in both of the last major storms.
From Irma and Matthew. Yeah, we had 3 feet of water in this house. So yeah, we've experienced the flood before, and we're grateful to see that it hasn't made it in the house today.
That's some good news for her. She says places in her neighborhood seem to be unaffected by the storm.
Now that Hurricane Dorian is moving towards the Carolinas, Governor Ron DeSantis will hold an after the storm press conference today. The conference is this morning at 9:30 at State Emergency Operations Center in Tallahassee. And you know, Hurricane Dorian's devastation in the Bahamas appears endless, with at least 20 deaths blamed on the storm. And let's talk about that right now. Some families are returning to their homes, and the images are simply heartbreaking. The UN says 70,000 people are in immediate need of help. Bahamian leaders say the relief is starting to come, and the organizations and cities are reaching out. It's been pretty incredible for them to see.
You know, we're all wearing the same clothes that we escaped this house in, so it's just really good to get that support.
The Coast Guard and Customs and Border Protection are among those helping with the recovery effort in the Bahamas.
For the latest information on Hurricane Dorian's impact on our local area, from school schedules to evacuations and curfew information, county by county, you can download the Action News Jax mobile app and click on the Hurricane Center.
From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Simmons. We move the camera around here. Your hour-by-hour forecast today on Thursday. Things kind of getting back to normal here as Dorian moves up the coast to the north away from us. It is going to be breezy out there today. We have the cloud cover this morning, but that is going to steadily filter out, and hot temperatures in store because of an offshore wind out of the west between 10 to 20. So yeah, there's that wind, but that's going to help push our temperatures into the middle 90s. It's going to clean up that surf along the area coast, so a surfer's delight in store throughout the day today. Temperatures staying hot all the way through the weekend, including that Jags game. Meteorologist Garrett Biedenbaugh has that First Alert 7-day forecast in about 10 minutes. Right now it's 8:11. Derek Odom has Action News Jax First Alert traffic.
Keep an eye on the one slow spot here, 295 and 103rd Street. That's southbound traffic. Given that yellow light as you make your way through that part of town, the crash has been cleared up just a little bit. There we see it as you make your way southbound. A little bit of a delay, about 1.5 miles in that area. That's the very latest from the Keith Pearson Toyota First Alert Traffic Center. Tish?
Oh boy, over 20,000 pounds of raw beef under recall.
New this morning, the beef manufacturer under fire.
Some neighbors in St. Johns County were left with flooding after Hurricane Dorian. Coming up, how one home was able to withstand the storm. To you, it's 8:14. Welcome to Action News Jax. We're still tracking Hurricane Dorian as it moves along the South Carolina, the Carolinas basically this morning. They are getting some heavy wind, rain pounding the coast. It's a Cat 3 storm now. We can breathe a sigh of relief here, though. It is over for us. And people like this who own this home, well, they're coming out okay. Remember, it was strapped down ahead of Hurricane Dorian. It's still standing. Action News Jax first told you about this home in Ponte Vedra Beach on Monday. It's another unique way we found neighbors prepping for the storm.
A little bit everything from, hey, you're a genius, you ought to patent the idea, to you're nuts.
Well, the homeowner says this is one of the best ideas he's ever come up with. It took 7 straps attached to the home's foundation and a Cadillac known as the Battle Wagon to keep the home in place. The roof is fine. They say nothing broke. They're feeling good this morning. Covering Neptune Beach, where local families are just relieved those sand dunes worked. They did their jobs. Action News Jax Courtney Cole live there this morning. Courtney, the beach renourishment project was just finished in January.
And that project consisted of an 8-mile stretch from Atlantic to Hanna Park. But right now what I want to show you is more about that project so you can understand. And actually it's perfect because this will help me explain. So you see this tractor here. This tractor, 2 of them, they actually helped to build the dune you see right here in the middle. But on the left and right where you see the sea oats and the sand, that was a part of the beach renourishment project that we're talking to you about. So now in most places, the rebuilding happened. The rebuilding was about 4 to 6 feet of sand vertical height and about 25 to 30 feet in width. Now last year we were spared any major storms, so our beach cities, they had a chance to catch up and get this restoration started. The beach renourishment project required a total of 880,000 cubic yards of sand and 600,000 native dune plants. Neighbors told Action News Jax they're relieved this time around. The beaches were spared and those sand dunes held up against those rough waves.
I'm grateful that it was not nearly as bad as it could have been.
And these tractors here that you see are just proof that our beach cities are getting back to normal. These tractors here helping to remove the dunes they created to prevent any flooding here into the community. But this also leads to the beach. So this morning you're probably wondering, well, can I go back on the beach? So Mayor Curry said lifeguards will be back, but surf and water conditions are still expected to be rough. So for right now, still stay out of the water. Reporting live in Neptune Beach, Courtney Cole, Fox 30 Action News Jax.
Now certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beatonwall. Right now, Hurricane Dorian, still a Category 3 hurricane as it makes its way to the north-northeast now off the South Carolina coast. Yesterday, near Jacksonville's latitude by about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Of course, we saw some of that beach erosion and high waves and winds that we saw in 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts. That has now advanced up the coast to the Carolinas, up I-95 into North Carolina, potentially going to be seeing this over the next few days. Over the next 1 to 2 days, they're already seeing the outer bands of a potential hurricane landfall there closer to the eastern Carolina coast. Right now, our seas are coming down locally 6 to 5 feet here, so the seas coming down dramatically for the day today, but those offshore winds really helping the surfers to have a good time. This is a zoomed in look, and we have a bunch of surfers right there taking the sets in, and that offshore wind really doing its thing and cleaning things up. It's westerly at 17 miles per hour right now and 80 degrees. Hour by hour today in the low 90s for lunchtime. It's going to be hot on the backside of this hurricane. Mid-90s by the afternoon. It won't be too humid, though. That's at least what we got going for us. Here's the 7-day forecast with, of course, your weekend always in view. We're in the mid-90s today, low 90s for your Friday into the weekend. It's going to be dry, mainly an isolated inland shower for Sunday with the Jags game at home. It'll be mainly dry on CBS47 with that game. Low 90s into next week and a few isolated showers. Right now, here's First Alert Doppler HD. We've been tracking some tornadoes on the ground there in South Carolina. We showed you that. Image coming up a few minutes ago, but there's Wilmington, North Carolina, where a rain band about 60 miles to their south. And I want to bring back in from our sister station, WSOC in Charlotte, North Carolina, have made the way out to Wilmington. Ken Lemon. And Ken, what are conditions like now as these bands continue to spiral onshore?
Well, right now I can almost feel like I feel the sun coming out here, but people in this area, they know not to expect this for the rest of the day. Dorian still making its way here, right out here at this marina where we are. You can see these boats lash down here hard and heavy. They are going to ride it out here. I spoke with one guy who actually spent the night in a boat here. He told me 2 concerns. One, at high tide, when that water came up high, he was concerned about his boat drifting. The other is about about the strong wind. He said he could feel the wind whipping through the area. Earlier today, we felt the wind whipping around us. We had heavy rains, we had lightning, we had thunder in this area. That concerned a lot of people who are concerned about power outages right here in this marina. Whenever there's a storm surge and you have something like a hurricane out there driving it, then this whole parking lot gets flooded. And I spoke with the people who live in the apartments right over there. They told me during Fran, that water came right up to those apartments, and up there you can see those windows boarded up because they are concerned about the winds whipping around debris through this area. They were anticipating Category 1 force winds. They are not happy about the fact that Dorian kicked up to 3 and not sure if they're going to see Category 2 in this area whenever it finally comes over, and they again are expecting it a little bit later on today, Garrett.
All right, thanks, Ken. Stay safe as you ride through the storm there in Wilmington, North Carolina, from our sister station WSOC in Charlotte, North Carolina. So right now we're going to toss it over to Derek Odom. He's in the Action News Jax First Alert Traffic Center. Derek, no evacuation traffic here today or getting back to the beaches.
Yeah, the people are getting back to normal today in our area. A little bit of a slowdown here on 295 and 103rd. That's a yellow light right as you make your way southbound. A crash there, slowing things down for about a mile and a half, so watch out for that. Otherwise, traffic is good. Fernandina Beach evacuation order lifted a little while ago, so good traffic there and good traffic in St. Augustine all throughout the area. That's the very latest from the Keith Pearson Toyota First Alert Traffic Center.
New this morning, over 20,000 pounds of raw beef from American Beef Packer is now under recall. The USDA and Food Safety Inspection Service says the beef is unfit for human consumption. That recall was issued on August 31st.
3 big things you need to know, powered by Safe Touch Security.
I'm Rich Jones. The U.S. Navy and Coast Guard are ferrying relief supplies and humanitarian aid to the Bahamas. Washington insider Jamie Dupree lists the Florida base and other military construction projects that may not get off the ground as the president and Pentagon are moving money to fund the border wall with Mexico. And China says that talks with the U.S. on the tariff fight are not now scheduled until October. WOKV's 3 big things you need to know, powered by Safe Touch Security.
Welcome to Action News Jax. Right now, your time 8:25. I'm Dawn Lopez. We have an update on that first alert weather and traffic coming up in just one moment. An update on the track of Hurricane Dorian, 1 minute away. In your top stories, developing this morning, a child and 3 others were hurt overnight in a shooting. They're recovering now. Action News Jax is working to learn how exactly they were hurt, but police were called here near the corner of 62nd Street and Vermilion. That's in the North Shore area. Anyone who is in the area or has information, you're asked to contact the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. And also breaking overnight, 1 person is dead and a number of families out of their homes. This is video that JFRD tweeted out. You can see just how bad this fire at this apartment complex got. 1 unit here completely gone. This is located on Kensington Square in the San Jose area near the river. Crews say that the fire destroyed half of a unit here where the fire started. Now that Hurricane Dorian is tracking up the East Coast north of us, out of our area, many local businesses, schools, and governments are trying to get back to business. JTA is back up and running today. City offices are back open today, and kids have no excuse not to get the homework done because public libraries will be opening again today starting at 1 o'clock. CBS47 and FOX30 are your official Jaguar stations getting you ready for game day. Jags All Access is tonight at 7 on FOX30, live from Mellow Mushroom in Avondale. Action Sports Jax Britt Martineau is joined by Jeff Loggeman and former Jags Rasheed Mathis.
From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima. There is Dorian behind my head here. It is moving off to the north and east, and we're going to be stuck with these winds on the backside of it. It's the dry side of Dorian. That means it's going to be sunny. There may be a little lingering cloud cover up in southeast Georgia. Temperatures very hot. Doesn't matter where you are, including all the way out to the coast into the middle and upper 90s this afternoon. It's going to be feeling hot. That wind cleaning up that surf along the area beaches as well. Derek?
Here, good looking ride, 295 north up 9B, usually very slow, but right now looking pretty good. That's a green light. Just 1 crash reported on 295 southbound at 103rd, off to the side now, but causing a little bit of delay on the West Beltway. That's the latest from the Keith Pearson Toyota First Alert Traffic Center. It's 8:27. We'll be right back with more news on Fox 30.
The Action News Jax First Alert weather team has tracked Dorian for more than 10 days.
No, the ocean's just really angry.
Dorian arrived off Jacksonville's coast.
I'm just making sure she doesn't sink. It's all I have.
Flooding coastal communities, closing local roads and bridges, battering our beaches.
Even on a good day, you can be driving down that stretch of A1A and the ocean is right there.
Now,
I'm grateful that it was not nearly as bad as it could have been.
All quiet off Jacksonville's coast.
Look from downtown toward the west, see a little bit of sun, a glimmer of hope, right, as Dorian moves away.
As the skies clear, count on Action News Jax to be with you after the storm.
A live look now at Charleston, South Carolina, where Hurricane Dorian will come dangerously close. There's the Arthur Ravenel Bridge in the background there, and some of those bands slowly starting to move in. And another live look at Folly Beach, just around 11 miles south of Charleston. The wind picking up there, whipping this American flag. A heavy wind and rain making it hard kind of to see that shoreline in that area too, but you also see those waves picking up.
And we got some new video into the Action News Jax newsroom. Look at this, a possible tornado ripping through a neighborhood there. This was spotted in North Myrtle Beach. Action News Jax First Alert meteorologist Garrett Biedenbaugh is working with us this morning on watching Dorian. And Garrett, that could be happening for the rest of the day for people there.
Folks
really.
in the Carolinas, yeah, that's the outermost rain bands. That northeastern quadrant is that the area we watch for tropical tornadoes, and definitely spawning some here this morning. And they're quick moving, and they spin up quickly and move pretty quickly too. But right here now, live in Jacksonville, we are fine. We have some mostly sunny to partly sunny skies from downtown Jacksonville. That'll be clearing out, and a lot of sunshine for the day today. Here's the infrared satellite imagery showing Dorian off to our north and east. There's Charleston, South Carolina, and those tornadoes up to the north there in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and also into the eastern, say, North Carolina area, where they'll potentially be interacting with a Category 2 hurricane here over the next 24 hours or so. And that could be the only U.S. landfall, technically, of Dorian here, because for us, it stayed offshore with that center of circulation. Now behind it, we're getting offshore winds, 18 miles per hour there at the coast in some spots, gusting to 25 at Fernandina Beach. Of course, the wave height's coming down a bit, but still at 6 feet offshore from St. Augustine and Jacksonville Beach. Of course, surfers are just having a ball here. We just saw a good ride here a second ago, waiting on the next set to come in. We're seeing 4+ footers here this morning. They'll be gradually going down, but that offshore wind really helping them out and cleaning up the surf. Of course, you know what it looked like yesterday, dramatically different now that Dorian is off to the north and east. So there's 5-Sweep First Alert Doppler HD. Well, it's dry. It will be dry today. Here in the hour-by-hour forecast, we'll be seeing a lot of sunshine breaking out and mid-80s by 10 a.m., low 90s by your lunch hour here, and mid-90s for our afternoon highs, 90s all the way to the coast thanks to those westerly winds. Coming up in your First Alert 7-day forecast, I'll let you know if we see any rain for your weekend. That's coming up in just a bit. Right now, it's 8:33. Here's Derek Odom in the Action News Jax First Alert Traffic Center.
And take a look at this I-10 at Cassett, usually backed up at this time of morning. Not today. That is a green light in both directions. No school traffic. Not everybody back to work, I'm sure. So traffic moving along nicely on I-10. Recovering on 295 southbound. This crash had lane blocked there for quite a while, almost 2 hours. They've got that cleared up, so things are moving better there. And as people clean up in the St. Augustine area in St. Johns County, traffic not a problem on 95, State Road 16, even A1A, where they had a little flooding yesterday near Volano Beach. Things are looking good now. That's the latest from the Keith Pearson Toyota First Alert Traffic Center.
Well, Dorian is gone, but the storm's impacts at the beach are significant.
Yeah, the East Coast was battered by the outer bands of that Category 2 storm, packing a punch on our coastline. Action News Jax Beth Rousseau reports families and businesses in Volano Beach are wondering what county leaders will do to restore the shore.
You can see the work that crews have done. Sand and sandbags piled up along A1A, where water during Dorian yesterday spilled out over the road and actually made it all the way to the other side. Families tell me this is a particularly large concern because right now we're in the peak of hurricane season and they don't know what would wash away with another storm. Right now I want to go ahead and pull up some video to show you when this water was actually pouring out onto A1A yesterday. In 2017, Action News Jax told you when county leaders launched a beach restoration plan for 2 miles of the coastline here in Volano and North Beach. It included dredging and 16,000 truckloads of sand. It cost between $3 and $5 million, but those weren't taxpayer dollars. Families want to know what's next for the shore now and what county leaders are going to do to make sure that there's not more erosion and to deal with what happened yesterday. All in all, we talked to families who say Dorian wasn't what they expected.
The rain band's coming in at the over there near the river, and then we come out this way, and it's just rainy, windy. It's not what I expected. I was expecting a hurricane.
I'm reaching out to St. Johns County leaders to see what they're doing to deal with the erosion from yesterday's storm. As soon as I have an answer, I'll post it for you on the Action News Jax mobile app. Reporting in St. Johns County this morning, Beth Russo, Action News Jax.
A lot of people were at Jax Beach. They're a little stir crazy because they've been in the house all day, and they went out to the beach to go check out sort of a show, what the ocean was doing. They were gathering to watch this raging sea there. Action News Jax spotted crews, people trying to boogie board in that, and even surf in those dangerous conditions.
Usually with a normal swell you have time in between sets, but I mean you get no break. It's just coming at you, coming at you, coming at you.
Unfortunately, there were no reports of structural damage to the pier like we saw with Matthew and Irma.
Meanwhile, 2 boaters are waiting to retrieve their sailboat swept under the Intracoastal Waterway Bridge on Beach Boulevard by Hurricane Dorian winds. Action News Jax Alicia Tarancon reports on one of our Action News Jax crew members that helped get a man's boat off the rocks.
The owner of the red sailboat just got here, and if we want you to take a look at it right now. You can see they're trying to salvage what they can, and people from the community are joining in and trying to help. On Wednesday, this red sailboat became trapped underneath the Intracoastal Bridge during Hurricane Dorian. A witness recorded the original rescue mission on his phone after the boat got lodged into these rocks. That same sailboat got loose a second time, and JSO and an Action News Jax photographer tried to secure it. We spoke with the boat's owner yesterday as he was riding out the storm. He says this boat was all that he had. Your home is actually everything, all of your items and all your belongings inside this boat.
Other than a few things my family's at the motel with, but yeah, everything else is in here.
And the boat's owner tells us that because of the storm, it was hard to call for help because it was just too dangerous in those conditions. Coming up at noon, we're going to see what can be done to help salvage this boat. Reporting underneath the Intracoastal Bridge, Alicia Tarancon, FOX30 Action News Jax.
Deadly flooding and devastation ongoing in the Bahamas from Hurricane Dorian. The changes leaders are asking President Trump to make to keep islanders safe.
I'm Action News Jax First Alert meteorologist Maritza Ross. We are taking a live look from our First Alert Skycam network from Jax Beach, where the surf is up, the surfers are out, and there are people along the beach just checking out the scene. It's a good-looking Thursday on this Thursday morning, and those conditions at the beach, it looks pretty good for you guys. The surf is around 4 to 8 feet. Rip current risk is high, though, so if you're not a strong swimmer, I don't recommend going in. Burn time right around 10 to 15 minutes with that surf. Water temperature at 84 degrees, and if you are going to take the boat out, it's still a little rough out there. Seas 5 to 9 feet. Next high tide cycle is at 2:39. And now let's check in with traffic with Derek Odom.
Right now, a live look over the Buckman Bridge, and all is good there in both directions as you make your way around. Definitely a green light ride there. The one crash we've been finally clearing up. They're still off on the shoulder, 295 southbound at 103rd Street, but not causing any more delays. Nearby, over on the First Coast Expressway, State Road 23, tolls will be suspended until midnight on Friday. So Saturday, technically, 1 minute after midnight, they'll kick those tolls back in. Your travel times have not been a problem all morning long. That's the latest from the Keith Pearson Toyota First Alert Traffic Center.
3 big things you need to know, powered by Safe Touch Security.
I'm Rich Jones. Stay up to date as we track Dorian's arrival through the Carolinas, and some pretty violent videos coming about those tornadoes. Florida's 2 U.S. senators asking the president to waive some of the visa requirements for people living on the Bahamas. 4 people, including a young person, recovering physically after being shot last night on Jacksonville's north side. WOKB's 3 big things you need to know, powered by Safe Touch Security.
family at war.
He will have that scar for the rest of his life.
Over a toddler treadmill injury.
It's your job, not hers. She doesn't have a 2.5-year-old. You do.
New Dr. Phil.
You can watch Dr. Phil today at 4 on our sister station, CBS47. Well, now that Hurricane Dorian is tracking up the East Coast away from our area, many local businesses, schools, and government organizations are working to get back to business. Action News Jax' Courtney Cole reports most of our local schools, though, will resume class tomorrow.
And before we get to schools, there's another sign that things are getting back to business, especially here in Neptune Beach. If you'll walk over here with me to the Seahorse Oceanfront Inn, you can see earlier this morning that some of the plywood boards are already being taken down. And then if you walk back over here with me, you can see that tractors are here early this morning to remove the sand they brought in to block the water from flooding. Now we can get back to schools. So here in Duval County, schools, some of them were used as shelters, and so that's the reason some of them are not. That's the reason they're not open today, because they're going to have to clean them up and make sure that they're safe and ready for the kids to come back tomorrow. Now here's some other main takeaways. According to Mayor Lindy Curry, emergency response teams are still scoping out any possible damage. But if you see or have experienced anything you think they missed, you're urged to report that to 630-CITY. Bridges will be open during your commute this morning and throughout the day. And for all my JTA customers, JTA will be up and running, and city offices will be open today as well. And kids, you won't have any excuse. Libraries open again at 1 o'clock this afternoon as well. Now, also here in Duval County, the only thing that won't be back to normal is the football schedule. That won't be happening this week. But beachgoers, I know what your question is. Can I go back on the beach today? Lifeguards will be back on the beach, but surf conditions, water conditions are still expected to be rough, so they're still asking people to stay out of the water. Reporting on Neptune Beach, Courtney Cole, Fox 30 Action News Jax.
For the latest information on Hurricane Dorian's impact on our local area, from school schedules to evacuations and curfew information county by county, you can download the Action News Jax mobile app and click on the Hurricane Center. Porsche goes electric with its first battery-powered sports car.
Pumpkin Spice Krispy Kreme donuts are back. Action News Jax Don Lopez joins us now. The latest in consumer news. Feels like it's been an eternity since we've had consumer news.
That's right. And pumpkin spice donuts, too.
We're getting back to some normalcy, too, right?
Yeah.
And everywhere you go, there's pumpkin spice right now. Krispy Kreme rolling out the iconic pumpkin spice glazed donuts, and the company says that it will offer customers options to select from, including a pumpkin spice donut filled with cream cheese. Now that does look good. And a pumpkin spice cake donut. And you can catch it September 8th. That's coming up just days away. Porsche is going electric with the arrival of its newest sports car, the Taycan. Now, this is the first fully electric car that Porsche has created. What you think, Phil? Nice looking?
Yeah.
The company revealing 2 versions of the car, the base model Turbo and a souped-up Turbo S. It's pretty. The starting price around $150,000.
Now, certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax, First Alert Weather.
First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beaton. Well, Category 3 Hurricane Dorian now making its way to the north-northeast after a northerly movement overnight. There's Jacksonville well to the north and east of our latitude now. Charleston, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington right there. It's thankfully moving away from the Charleston, South Carolina coastline at least. And it will likely have some interaction with land near North Carolina's coast. There's a visible satellite imagery here. 1-minute updates coming to you here live in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center. And you can see that eye of a Category 3 hurricane. Likely to be at least some weakening today, and then making its way by Friday 2 a.m. near the Carolina coastline there of North Carolina, and then off to the north and east, potentially through the Outer Banks. So still going to be a significant event for some spots here in the U.S., and that could be its one and only U.S. technical landfall here with Dorian after ravaging the northern Bahamas. Of course, unfortunately, we've been having those images coming into us. Winds 50 miles an hour around that center. Here's Dorian's track, August 24th, becoming a depression and then a tropical storm well east of the Lesser Antilles. That's when we're tracking it for you. And actually, before that, we were tracking it for you, especially talking the tropics with Mike at ActionNewsJax.com. And then off to the east of Puerto Rico, becoming a hurricane, and then into Friday, August 30th, a major hurricane to Cat 4 and then a Cat 5 before it hit the northern Bahamas and stalled out for over 30 hours. showers, then weakening somewhat, and a Category 2 east of Jacksonville's coastline, well east about 100 miles by yesterday, and then now that's the current positioning there for Hurricane Dorian. It produced a lot of wave action yesterday, but it's come down significantly at Jacksonville Beach on the Action News Jax First Alert Skycam network. A lot of surfers there today as the surf is cleaning up nicely with those offshore winds at 17 miles per hour. About 3 to 4 footers is what we got right now. It's really come down even for the past couple of hours. 5-Street First Alert Doppler HD. Well, it's dry here across northeast Florida and southeast Georgia. There's southeast Georgia where those rain bands are just to your north and east. Today, though, we'll see highs in the lower to mid-90s with a lot of sunshine and breezy offshore winds. Look at this, overnight down into the upper 60s. Right now, I want to talk about some rainfall totals we've just gotten in from the National Weather Service here from Dorian. With more on that, here's meteorologist Corey Sima.
Got the reports in, Garrett, just after 8:30 from the Weather Service. Fleming Island, 2 1/4. Jacksonville, just under 2 inches of rain officially. Fernandina Beach, almost 2 inches, 1.5 inches down in Satsuma in Putnam County. Palm Valley, the high number here, at least for our viewing area, almost 3.5, and there's Brunswick with almost 1.5 inches. Reports in Flagler County, Garrett, some 3, 4, 5 inches of rain. A big difference that we got, even if that rain band just moved a little farther to the west.
And here's your First Alert 7-day forecast, Corey, with your weekend always in view. Mid-90s today inland, even the 90s all the way to the beaches with the offshore wind. Low 90s tomorrow, upper 60s again Saturday morning. Uh-oh, that's some good porch sitting weather right there. Mid-90s on Saturday, some showers inland, but it's going to be mainly dry for the Jags game on CBS47 when you watch that or go downtown. Low 90s into next week with a few more showers inland in the afternoon. You can always get this forecast any time of the day right there on the Action News Jax First Alert weather app. And join Chief Meteorologist Mike Burris starting at 5 on CBS47 Action News Jax. Here's Derek Odom in the Action News Jax First Alert Traffic Center.
A look at the Dames Point Bridge, one of the bridges everybody was worried about yesterday. They never closed. Things are looking pretty good there. That is a green light ride. Earlier crash cleared away now on 295 southbound and 103rd. Traffic has gotten back to normal. We mentioned it briefly earlier. The First Coast Expressway and the 295 express lanes tolls suspended until Friday at midnight. That's the latest from the Keith Pearson Toyota First Alert Traffic Center.
What to watch, brought to you by Ashley Home Store.
You're watching Action News Jax right now.
Action News Jax, Don Lopez has a look at the top stories in our area today.
I do. Action News Jax is with you after the storm as local communities get back to normal. New information just into the Action News Jax newsroom. The St. Mary's Police Department saying Dark Entry Creek Bridge is back open. A1A in Volano Beach is also back open now. And the local state of emergency is also lifted for Nassau County. Breaking overnight, one person is dead and a number of families out of their homes. This is video that JFRD tweeted out, and you can just see here how bad this apartment unit is burned at this apartment complex that's located on Kensington Square in San Jose. Crews say that the fire destroyed half of a unit where the fire started. Your official Jaguar station, CBS47 and FOX30, getting you ready for game day. Jags All Access is tonight at 7 on FOX30, live from Mellow Mushroom in Avondale. Action Sports Jax Brett Martineau is joined by Jeff Lagerman and former Jags, Rasheem Mathis.
I'm First Alert meteorologist Garrett Biedenball. It's going to be a hot one today in your First Alert 7-day forecast. Mid-90s, even 90s all the way to the coast with the offshore winds. Low 90s on Friday after morning lows in the upper 60s the next two mornings, but mid-90s into Saturday. Dry for the Jags game, but a few inland showers will be in the low 90s into Monday and Tuesday. Here's Derek Odom in the Action News Jax First Alert Traffic Center.
A live look at the Dames Point Bridge here. All is good in both directions. That is a green light as you make your way through that area. Of course, we're talking about leftovers from the storm. The tolls will still be suspended on the First Coast Expressway and the 295 Express lanes until Friday midnight. Saturday, they'll kick back into normal operation. Arlington, you just saw the Dames Point Bridge. No problems coming off that. The Arlington Expressway delay free. Of course, no school traffic today, so travel times have been light. Things are looking pretty good out there. That's the latest from the Keith Pearson Toyota First Alert Traffic Center. Tish?
Action News Jax has nonstop coverage of all the big stories for you. Just watch us on Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Roku 24 hours a day. Take us with you on the go. Download our app. It's free. And as always, actionnewsjax.com.
All right. It's the day after. A lot of folks may be going out to the beach, just taking a look at beautiful scenery out there, and maybe looking for some treasure too. You're bringing your metal detector out, aren't you?
All right, I got it.
That's right.
You want one of those wands, don't you?
We know when to get Phil for Christmas.
I didn't before, but I do now.
Don't be surprised if you see him out there.
Have a good day.
This is Action News Jax right now. Good morning to you. I'm Dawn Lopez. Right now, one person is dead and a number of families lost their homes because of this fire. JFRD shared this video of them trying to put out the flames here on Kensington Square. Crews say that the fire destroyed half of a unit where it started. Good news for parents. Public schools in Duval County opening back up tomorrow. A few schools in the area have already opened. Public schools in St. Johns County are also open tomorrow. A full look. That's too. Welcome to Action News Jax. Right now, I'm Dawn Lopez. One person is dead and a number of families out of their homes because of this fire. JFRD sharing this video. This is off Kensington Square. Crews say that the fire destroyed half of a unit where it started. And public schools in Duval County back open tomorrow. A few schools in the area already open today. For a full list of closures, go to actionnewsjax.com.
Today, hot in the First Alert 7-day forecast in the mid-90s. A lot of sunshine. Offshore winds continue today and into tomorrow in the low 90s.
Welcome to Action News Jax. Right now, I'm Dawn Lopez. A child and 3 others are hurt from a shooting where overnight shooting. Recovering. My bad.
Second time's the charm.
This is Action News Jax. Right now, I'm Dawn Lopez. 1 child and 3 others are hurt in an overnight shooting. They're recovering. Police were called here to the corner of 62nd Street and Vermilion. Action News Jax is working to learn exactly what happened there. All lanes of A1A and Volano Beach are back open this morning. 1 lane was closed off Wednesday while crews cleared debris from the storm surge. Action News Jax showed you yesterday when ocean waters breached the dunes.
Hot today, though. A lot of sunshine after Dorian moving on to the north and east. Low 90s into tomorrow, too. Hi, I'm First Alert meteorologist Garrett Viedenbaugh. Here is your First Alert 7-day forecast with your weekend always in view. Lower to mid-90s. It's going to be hot today with offshore winds around 10 to 15, even gusting to 20 miles per hour at the immediate coast. Upper 60s the next 2 mornings, though. Pretty nice and pleasant with a little bit lower humidity, too. Mid-90s for Saturday, mid-90s on Sunday. Going to be hot weekend with only a few inland showers. The Jags game is going to be dry on CBS47 in the early afternoon. Low 90s on Monday and into Tuesday. A few isolated showers in the afternoon, maybe a thunderstorm or 2, but typical weather here is what we're seeing with a few sea breezes advancing inland. You can always get this forecast any time of the day right here at actionnewsjax.com and the First Alert weather app.